Is it not?
Senior year, Kathy,
Started
like,
to.
Okay, let's see.
Yep, that's the one. Dan, it started to, but then, oh wait, here we go. Good? Yeah.
What the board's trying to do. You want to get out of it. You can be the first. But I knew this one, asked you about it. And so, these happen here, and then this one definitely is. And that's it. So, here I can do this. So, whatever they're trying to discussing at the board, then you would need to interpret. When they're up here.
Oh,
Okay?
okay,
Yeah, we call them.
Not excited.
Right, when they come up and sit at the table. Okay, all right, thank you.
Oh.
My phone's on. I'll turn it on. Just shut it. You always have a copy of your shirt.
Oh, there we go.
Ready? I already wrote.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll call the Green Bay Sex Offender Residency Board to meet. First thing is roll call.
I've got everybody logged in, President Boyd.
Okay. And then we'll need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Vote.
And just mark all those as yes.
Okay.
To the next one.
We'll need an approval from the minutes from the August 14th, 2019 Sex Offender Residency Board meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. The first appeal we will hear is Royce Saldana. You can step forward. Come on up. Right here.
Because my nephew said, oh, you represented me.
He's representing you, like as
Well,
a lawyer?
No. Well, he's here with me, I mean.
Oh, he'll have an opportunity to speak.
Okay.
Is this the first time you've been here to see us?
Yes.
Okay. So what we're gonna ask is that you tell us what you were convicted of, how it came to light. We'll ask you some questions. The one thing that we ask of you is to not name the victim or the relationship of the victim. So, go ahead and tell us what you were convicted of.
Sexually assault. Sexually assault.
Okay. And did you know the victim?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And tell us what you did.
Just touched her and all that.
What does all that mean?
Gripping her parts that I wasn't supposed to.
Through clothes or through on skin? Through clothes or on skin?
She didn't, no clothes.
Did this happen more than once?
Yes, I did, ma'am.
How many times?
I can't remember, ma'am. Don't get me wrong, I mean, I've had 7 strokes. My right brain, or my left, and I can't go way back to think about what happened, ma'am.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you with him?
No.
He's
Oh.
an interpreter in case we need.
Oh,
because
I
I know
see.
we definitely need help for Joel.
Okay.
Sir, would it be better if we called you, if you had time to rest for a minute and then we call you again?
No, just get this and, get it done, man.
How old were you when this happened?
I think I was about 21 or 22, man.
And how old was the victim?
I think she was 16 or 17.
What I'm looking,
Well, the case is out of Marinette County, correct? So you're not gonna have anything?
I have the criminal complaint.
Oh, okay, is he at least somewhat right?
Somewhat, would be yes.
Can you, is there any more that you could elaborate on?
what about the charge?
There's 2 counts incest. Count 1 was sexual assault of a child under age 13. Count 2 was incest, count 3 was incest. Count 4, count 5, the same.
And
Um,
what year did these incidents take place?
First count, July of '98.
Sir, what year were you born? What year were you born?
52, ma'am.
Okay. So it would seem as though you were closer to 46 when this happened?
Man, I'm not gonna lie to you, I can't remember, ma'am. But if that's what it says, well, maybe.
Can you tell us anything else?
So the incidents occurred, stopped in 2006. And the victim in this particular case was between 11 and 17 when the incident occurred.
And how did it come to light?
I believe she reported it to an acquaintance who'd been called to the police department.
Sir, did you fill out this application yourself? To do the appeal? Did you fill it out or did somebody else fill it out for you?
Somebody else, I can't remember who it was.
Heidi, it was his nephew.
Oh,
He went to the office and he just had limited information.
Okay. Okay. And are we correct that you served 5 years in prison and then did you serve 5 years extended supervision?
Yeah, I was clean. Everything, clean. No, what do you call it, no harassment. I put my figure, my PO goes. My first client that I ever had. Never got no trouble. Not even a ticket, nothing.
Lieutenant, I'm sorry if I got through.
I'll
Commander,
answer
I
that.
demoted you, I'm sorry. Commander, could you tell me what the year is of that complaint?
This was filed in 2006.
2006, and the offense years?
The offense years were between July of 1998 and March of 2006.
In 2006?
Correct.
So, You were convicted in Marinette County on all of your cases that you've had.
Yes.
Why do you want to live in Green Bay?
Because that's where I'm born. I mean, I'm born in O'Connell, but I've been in Green Bay that's where all my family's at.
How long have you been in Green Bay?
Since I was born. I'm born in O'Connell, and I've been in Green Bay since the 50s.
Okay, so where have you been living the last 20 years?
Green Bay.
So how come you're just coming to us now?
What do you mean just now? Well, because of the case I got.
Okay, I have a question, sir. In the paperwork that was submitted with your application, or your appeal, specifically, it says that you want to move to 332 South Madison Street, number 4 in Green Bay. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Okay. If you don't live there, do you live there now?
yes.
Okay, how long have you been living there?
I think about a couple of weeks.
Okay, where did you live before that?
In a halfway house.
For how long?
Oh, first I was in a nursing home, I take it back, for maybe about a month, but then they took me out of there because I had a stroke and a half, which made it 6 strokes. And then I went to a nursing home. I had another stroke and a half that made, and I'm up to 7 strokes already, and which they say that my brain is paralyzed on the right and on the left, partly left. One more stroke, again like that, I won't be here no more, so.
Mr. Saldana, what I'm confused about, and maybe you can explain it to me, is almost every one of your offenses, your convictions occurred in Marinette County, and that goes from 2006. All the offense dates for the incest were in 1998, 99, 2003, all of which were in Marinette. And so when these offenses occurred, they were in Marinette, not in Green Bay, not in Brown County.
Oh, I lived in Wasaki, if you know where that is.
Okay, so you've lived in other places, correct?
Yes,
Okay, you have family here in Green Bay?
yeah, all
Who?
my family's in Green Bay,
Who?
all my brothers and sisters.
Is your nephew in Green Bay?
Yeah, he lives on, what street is it, Morrow?
332 South Madison Street.
Okay. And I guess my confusion is you had said that you've lived here, other than being born in El Concho, you've lived here your entire life. But that's not exactly accurate, is it? You've lived other places, right?
Well, yeah, I travel, I used to be a market worker, I travel.
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay,
we ended up in the 50s in Green Bay.
understood. It's just on your paperwork that was submitted, it said that you used to live in Green Bay between the 1950s and the 1980s. It doesn't list anything about recent time.
Oh, we went to Texas and all that, with my parents and all that,
Mm-hmm.
to Wyoming, and then we come back to Green Bay, and that's where we stayed, because we told my dad we didn't want to travel no more, so
Okay.
we stayed in Green Bay.
Mr. Saldana, you also said that you never got a ticket or anything.
When I was in prison, nothing, even when I was on probation.
Yeah, when you're
Nothing.
out of prison, but you have several OWIs.
Oh, that, yes, that I'm not gonna deny, yeah.
Multi-tickets.
That's the reason I went to prison.
The reason isn't for the incest?
Yeah, that, but I mean, for drunk driving was the first,
You,
that got put in jail, and then from there,
you got a few.
yeah. Yes, I did. But now, like I said, I've been clean for 17 years. Clean, without a ticket, like when I was in prison too. No tickets, no nothing. I was on a monitor. Like I said, my PO goes, she never had nobody to follow the rules. I said, well, prison made a man out of me.
So since you've been out of prison, you've been in Green Bay.
Yeah.
Why did you have a sex offender program report done on 2017? Sorry, you can't ask that.
That's,
No, wait, you have to, I'm sorry, I
Like it
can't
just-
ask
do we
that.
have any more questions regarding this case?
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Saldana, we would like to talk to you about your treatment that you may have received. You have the opportunity to do that in open or closed session. Open would mean everybody remains in the room, closed would mean everybody has to leave, and it would only be us. How would you like to talk about that?
Well, to me, it doesn't make no difference, I guess.
Okay, then we'll remain in open session, and
Okay, so then my question is, you had a sex offender program report done in February of 2017? Were you in treatment all the time after you got out of prison?
No,
Why did you?
I did, I can't remember where in the hell I did it, like I said, I forget a lot of stuff. I can't remember where I did it, I know I did, prison I did some. And once they were done, I was released. And then, when I was on probation, I went to Texas. And there too,
Well, this was done in Wisconsin,
okay,
and you were saying it didn't happen. You absolutely denied that it happened.
can't remember that, I'm not gonna lie.
it looks like you did this program at Off the Couch. Does that sound familiar as the group?
Would your nephew, does he have any of these answers?
He might, I don't know.
Many answers.
Okay, could you,
Yeah,
can we
when-
please have you step up
Just waiting for
here?
the chain of command.
Come
Yeah,
on up.
please step up here. If you could just please state your name and address for the record.
Full name is Morrow M. Saldana Jr., 332 South Madison Street.
Okay. So are you familiar with the treatment that he went through?
Yeah, I got something here.
Okay, this is,
That's all the treatment he did that I know.
well, no, this is, Libertas is, alcohol and AODA.
Right, that's all he was provided with as far as treatment.
Oh, wait, hold on, here we go. This is exactly what we have.
That's all I have.
Okay. So do you have any clue why in 2017 he would have done treatment?
No idea, I didn't have any contact with Roy, Mr. Saldana at that time. I just recently got involved with his situation.
So, do we have any idea, so in 2007 you were convicted of this case and was sentenced to 5 years. So that would put you into prison till 2012. And in 2012, you were released back into the community?
Yeah,
And where did you live at that time?
Wasaki.
Wasaki. And at what point did you have to go back to prison? In what year?
I never went back.
You never went back?
No,
So you served your 5 years extended supervision on the streets?
yes. And like I said, I never got no ticket, never got in no trouble, nothing.
I think we're all just extremely confused as to why you would do treatment in 2017
With the CD.
with basically you would have been off paper, give or take, by that time.
Mr. Saldana didn't get off paper till August 8th of this year.
Which is beyond his 10 years.
He was released from the Department of Corrections in Marinette on that day. And he's been with me ever since.
Okay, so did you help your uncle complete the
Yes, I did.
paperwork?
I'm the
So,
one. I orchestrated it, yes I did.
so it seems as though we're missing some information in between this year and 2012. Meaning, something happened that caused him to go back to the Department of Corrections, back to prison.
Well, originally, Mr. Saldana was up for charges for drunk driving, as you mentioned, and then this happened. So that's why it caused him to go back. Those charges were pending.
Okay, but that still would only put us to 2012.
Pretty sure Mr. Saldana was incarcerated at that time. He was already convicted.
Right.
He got released, I believe, in 2013.
13.
He's been out ever since.
Well-
Never back in custody anywhere.
Never, or nothing.
Okay, but, correct me if I'm wrong, I may have misheard you. You said that Mr. Saldana, you've only recently been in contact with him?
Well, I mean, I've developed a relationship with because of the situation,
Okay.
and
And when did that begin? Your relationship was renewed?
it's been going on for a good year.
A year? Okay.
Prior to that, Mr. Saldana lived in Wasaki, like he mentioned. His roommate passed away, so kids took over the house, so he had to relocate. So he's kind of been bouncing around during the last year.
Do you have any idea why that report was that, we were
This
referring?
report that I handed to her
Yes.
was given to me from his ex-probation officer from the Department of Maryland. That's all he had on his file. That's the only treatment that he received during the whole time he's been in this. I mean,
So just the alcohol, the
that's
Libertas,
it.
alcohol,
He
drugs?
was never offered anything else, or didn't have to do anything other than what the paper says.
Melissa, the incest sentence was consecutive to OWI 5th conviction, so that
Okay.
could be what
Okay,
the difference is between.
Oh,
the
I didn't
couple
see
year
the
difference.
5.
I didn't either. Okay,
All
and that
right.
makes more sense.
Do we have any more questions?
No.
Or would anybody like to make any kind of a motion?
I'll make a motion. I'm going to deny Mr. Saldana, address specific, 332 South Madison Street. And basically, because we obviously have a lot of offenders, and this all happened in Marinette.
Is there a second?
I'll second that, but I would like to add that my concern is that according to that report, which was only 2.5 years ago, it lists a lot of indicators where I am concerned about the risk of reoffending or triggers. There seems to be some behavior that is not appropriate. So based on that, based on the fact that, although I commend you, Mr. Saldana, for advocating for your uncle, that's very admirable, a lot of people won't do that. I think there's a lot of information that we are missing, and I know that you were only given that one document, but enough of that information causes me concern. So I will second that.
We'll vote on that? Could you just explain once how it works again?
Yeah, so if you're voting yes, that's to deny, no is to not deny.
Got a question?
Choose your finger.
Well, this creates a problem here because currently Mr. Saldana's house, we're at 332. He's been there since I filled out the necessary paperwork. So what do you suggest as the board here, I do with Mr. Saldana meanwhile?
Well, we first have to see what happens with the vote.
Motion to deny passes unanimously.
Okay, so that means he's not allowed to live at the address, 332 South Madison. So if he continues to live there, he will be fined and you will be fined. So he needs to move somewhere else.
Is there a time frame as far as relocating him and
Now,
trying to.
he should not have been living there until he got permission.
Well, that was a question that I brought up when I came here, and the lady's sitting over there
I
that,
told him I couldn't tell him
Yeah.
what.
she said as long as I let the police department and the Department of Corrections fill out the paperwork, they know where he's at. We haven't, he hasn't been hiding from anybody. All parties are aware where he's at, so
Okay.
Yeah, well,
we haven't done nothing wrong.
While an application is pending, at least I advise the police not to issue citations, but now that the board's made a decision.
Right,
he
right,
has
this
to
is
go.
just a whole light on this, on what's going on here, so that means I gotta go home and do some homework.
Yeah, and he's gonna need to find another location
I
to
call
live.
it brainstorming.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
Go by my brother then.
As long as it's not in the city of Green Bay.
I just lost the train of thought here. So I got, as soon as possible, I can make some arrangements.
Yeah.
To have them removed from Green Bay? Is that what you're telling me?
Well, from your address,
Okay.
Yeah, the restricted section of Green Bay, the map is available on the city's website. or
I
if
do
you
have
que-
that map.
Yeah, if you have questions, you
It's
can.
red all over.
And that's why we provide a.
Yeah, where's that guy supposed to live around here?
Well, if you can get some answers to some of the questions that we had, and
Oh, I mean.
maybe he could live with his, come back with a different address. It's
I mean,
it's possible if there's changes, you can
There are
reply.
a lot of questions unanswered here, but unfortunately, I was sitting over there, it wasn't, I didn't have the, you guys were in charge.
Sir,
I understand the chain of
The
command
board
here.
has voted, if you have follow-up questions, we can answer them in the law department.
Well, we got a lot of people here that are here for the same, I mean,
Correct.
I don't wanna take no more
Right,
people's time.
right.
But,
Exactly.
my question is this over with? There's
Yes.
no coming back?
This is.
not to this address.
So, do you have any suggestions where we can go from here as far as,
We're not allowed to give legal advice,
Okay.
yeah, or make recommendations like
now
that.
you're forcing me to brainstorm again.
Thank
Leave it
you.
there.
Okay.
All right.
If you have follow-up questions, you can find us at the law department.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Next on the agenda is Faustina Navarro.
Okay, Heidi, I received a phone call from his aunt at about 12:30 today that he is not going to make it, that he is currently in.
Oh, could we have a motion?
Motion to take the matter off the schedule?
I mean, it's either approved or.
Deny, motion to deny.
Second,
Renee, was that you that seconded?
yes.
Again, a yes vote is to deny the appeal. All right, motion passes, motion to deny passes unanimously.
Next on the agenda is Jorge Santos.
And Heidi, that is who I have.
Okay. And it's my understanding, George, that you needed to bring documentation of enrollment and/or attendance in a Spanish-speaking sex offender treatment program to the meeting. But before I go any further, first, do we have any questions? I mean, this is the reason why he's coming back? Okay.
Only reason.
He has the option to go into closed session or remain in open session to discuss this.
Ok,
if he's
para
got
discutir
his-
este tipo de problema o lo que usted ha venido aquí hoy día, tiene la opción de hacerlo privadamente, se llama una sesión cerrada o una sesión abierta, o sea, aquí. ¿Qué prefiere hacer usted?
No tengo nada que esconder.
I don't have anything to hide.
Okay, let's see the documentation that
Déjeme
you
ver la
have.
No,
documentación, por
que
favor.
verdad, esas son las que me mandaron a mí.
This is what they sent me.
Yeah, that's what we want to see, I
Queremos
guess.
ver esto, ¿eh?
That may be the letter from me.
I have a
Es
feeling
la
it
carta de
is.
ella.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Included
letter.
included in the packet is a referral to purchase offender services that we received from his PO. So he's been referred to Residency services.
Oh,
I just don't
okay.
know if they've gotten him services yet.
All right. Okay, so, we have the referral,
Ellos ya tienen la referencia.
July 18th.
Y apenas fui a ver a mi tío.
And
Apenas
I
fui a ver a mi
PO did
tío
tell me that it was
ayer.
going to be difficult getting into the Spanish speaking program. That they would
Probably.
prefer.
Go one at a time, because
¿Quién es su PO?
That's my George
What's the question?
Jimenez.
He went yesterday to see PO?
Yes.
Is that correct? Okay.
Cash.
Yeah.
Aquí tengo la tarjeta.
I have a business card.
No, that's fine.
No, no
We're
necesita
okay.
eso, no.
Oh.
Está todo bien.
So it looks like your PO is attempting to find you some treatment.
Al parecer estaban tratando, usted apeló para que le estaban consiguiendo tratamiento.
Ajá. Pero ahorita no hay nada.
Parece
Hasta
que
que no me mandan a hablar.
But there's nothing available at the moment, right? Tell, you talk.
And just for clarification, that's treatment with a Spanish-speaking facilitator, yes?
Para clarificar con alguien que hable español, ¿ok?
Y como dijo mi tío que tenían preguntas, que le hablaran a él.
My son said if there was any question, they can call him. Su hijo dijo.
No,
Dijo,
el tío.
P.O., I'm sorry.
Mi hijo no tiene que ver nada.
No.
No, lawyer.
All right. What else? So, do you have insurance?
¿Usted tiene seguro?
¿De qué?
What type of
Health insurance?
Seguro médico. Aseguranza médica.
Nomás al Force Health.
Forward Health.
Aquí lo tengo.
I have it with me if you need it.
No, I'm just wondering if there's an opportunity for him to find a facilitator through his insurance versus going through the Department of Corrections.
So yo me estaba preguntando si en lugar de canalizar esto por medio del Departamento de Corrección, podemos encontrar esto por medio...
It would be like one-on-one treatment for a sex offender?
Through...
Department of Corrections?
Yeah,
No.
instead of.
Yeah, instead of...
Oh, instead of the insurance.
Okay, so alguien que facilite esto por medio de su seguro médico. Eso son sesiones de uno a uno, ¿no es cierto?
Como de uno a uno, como yo estoy aquí.
Right, so it would be like one-to-one, right?
Is that possible for him to look into that?
Es posible que usted busque a ver cómo puede...
A ver cómo le puedo dar.
I'm going to see how can I do
Porque no
that.
tengo seguro para mi medicina.
I have insurance for my medications and stuff,
Well, may I
Pero
ask-
nada de eso de que me están pidiendo.
but not whatever you ask me.
Not for treatment?
¿No tiene para
Not
tratamiento
for
o no sabe?
therapy?
No sé.
Well, I don't know.
Has your probation officer asked you about insurance?
El oficial
Todavía no
no le ha
me-
preguntado. No le ha preguntado si usted tiene seguro médico. El oficial.
No, él no sabe si tengo esa onda. Porque nunca me ha preguntado.
He never asked, so he doesn't know that I have
Pero yo
insurance.
tengo insurance para mi medicina, para ir a mirar al doctor.
Sí, eso es seguro médico se llama. Okay. Yeah, but I do have insurance to go and get medicine, to go see the doctor.
Is this something we could make a phone call, like you to his PO, to see if his PO could go through
Ella está
his health
preguntando si es algo que
insurance?
podemos hacer, un llamado telefónico
Yeah.
a su PO.
Okay.
I'm
Si,
almost positive
lo
that
que traten
Catholic
de hacer por
Charities
medio
does
de
have
su
a
seguridad es conseguirle
Spanish-speaking
tratamiento.
person that facilitates. I know at least the TV.
No, pero
No tengo.
I can reach out to Castle.
usted pregunte a
Yeah.
ella.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That's a great. Yeah.
Okay. So I think what we're going to do is we're gonna try to see if we can make some contact to see if his agent can try to make some insurance, but we'll probably have to have a motion here to make sure that's acceptable with the rest of the board and give him a time frame, unfortunately, to come back again. Does anyone wanna make a motion?
So, en ese momento lo que van a hacer, van a contactar a la gente que está con usted para ver si pueden por medio de la aseguranza conseguir algo, pero tienen, una vez que todos ellos le tienen la aprobación de todas las personas aquí, entonces va a tener que volver en un periodo de tiempo aquí.
Ellos, dile a usted a ellos. De acá, ellos me consiguen a mí, donde ir, que sea de español, yo I let to go. Yo volaba.
Yeah. I mean, I will go you know, right away if it's a place where somebody speaks Spanish, and I can do that.
A motion to approve address specific for a time period of 30 days, is that 60 days? 60? Address, and with the return, with information from the probation officer regarding contacts or what efforts the probation officer has done to locate the a Spanish-speaking facilitator for sex offender treatment.
So 60 days.
60.
So ella está pidiendo entonces.
Is there a second
una
on
moción
that?
para 60
I'll second
días,
that
entonces,
Okay.
que usted
We'll take a
haya
vote on that.
contactado. Okay.
You can still tell them.
Oh, okay, yeah, so, le están tomando el voto. O sea, so, entonces dentro de los 60 días usted retornará aquí con ya.
Ya son 3 meses.
60 días son 2 meses.
Oh,
Okay. Entonces, de esa manera, para ese entonces usted ya va a ver su agente, su PO, para conseguir entonces la información.
Okay, so we're going to approve him for 60 days on the condition that the PO assists him in looking for some, the referral and/or going through his insurance.
Okay, so entonces
Okay.
le van a aprobar por 60 días, ¿ok? Siempre y cuando entonces que su agente y su PO se estén desenvolviendo para buscarle por medio de la referencia, por medio de su seguro médico, la atención que usted necesita.
o sea, si acaso mi seguro médico puede, que esto que yo nunca lo he sabido, pero si acaso es posible que el seguro que tengo o cualquier cosa, pero
Yes, I wouldn't know if the insurance is, through the insurance I can do all these, I never knew that.
Nope,
but
they'll
I mean,
take-
well,
they'll-
do you think it will be a possibility,
Yeah.
they do that, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The probation officer.
Yeah.
Can help.
El oficial de promoción le va a indicar lo que tiene que hacer y le va a explicar a usted, ¿ok?
Okay?
pero no me va a mirar hasta October 10.
Well,
No,
I'm not going to meet with them till October 10.
We're gonna call
No, ellos van a llamar.
Ahorita.
Not right now, pero
No.
tomorrow,
mañana.
Oh,
okay?
y cuando quiera que venga para atrás, que me mande una carta.
So you're going to send me a letter so that way I know when to come back
Yes.
here, right? Sí.
November 13th for.
Va a ser el 13 de noviembre, pero a las 4, pero ellos te van a mandar la carta. So you're going to send a letter.
Yes.
Porque estamos en septiembre.
Okay.
Octubre.
Estamos en septiembre.
Ajá. Y yo diga,
Yeah.
And we'll
We in
return
September
it.
and October, so he's,
Return in November.
right. Va a retornar en noviembre.
antes de Cristo.
Before Christmas, right?
Yes.
Sí.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Gracias.
Okay, bye-bye.
Gracias.
Bueno.
Hasta luego.
A ver, mire, yo para que la botella una tarde.
Next on the agenda is Daniel Fulton.
Gracias.
De nada.
All right, Mr. Fulton, you are requesting to move to 904 Colonial Avenue, is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, and this is your first time before us?
That's correct.
Okay, so as you've heard me indicate, we'll ask you about what happened. Again, not to list the name or relationship of the victim. All right, so what were you convicted of?
Child enticement.
Okay, and what happened?
It was a police stamp for a computer, on the computer. They said they were 15. I deleted the email the first time. He just kept messaging back. I ended up meeting and being arrested. Nothing happened physically with any person.
Were they offering anything?
Yes.
And were you asking for anything in return?
I never asked. They were offering.
So you went there with the intent to possibly
Possibly.
have sex?
I kind of figured it out, but it's in it all in a nutshell, yeah.
Okay. And this was in 2017?
That's good.
And you received 9 months in the county jail?
I'll be serving that at the end of the month.
Oh, okay.
In Shawano County.
That's correct.
Okay.
Commander, is that accurate?
So if you live in Algoma,
That's
and-
my temporary address right now. When I got into the court case, they told me I could not live in Brown County. I currently own a house on 904 Colonial. So I've been living out of the area of my sister's house since then.
Oh, nice.
Can I ask you about that? One thing doesn't make sense. This is a Shawano County case,
Yes.
correct? And you lived in Brown County,
Yes.
and why did they tell you you can't reside in Brown County? That's,
Both the Shawano County Probation Office, when I got out of court, I was ordered to report over there, and they asked me where I live. And they said I could not live at my residency here in Brown County because of the ordinance you have here in town.
Just at the 904 address?
That's correct. Well, they said anywhere in Green Bay.
Correct, okay.
Yes.
So then I made arrangements to live out with my sister.
Okay.
I have a question. You said you went on the site, they sent you emails, and then you sort of thought it might go to 6. Why were you on the site in the first place?
Originally I was on, which was Craigslist, was looking for some stolen property that I was stolen out of my driveway, a set of speakers out of my truck. And it ended up going, just perusing, usually cruised over in the personal area, and that's where it started. Wasn't initially looking for anything.
Why did it take so long for them to actually convict you of it?
Good question. It seemed like every time I turned around, it was kept on getting moved out, moved out, moved out.
Okay.
now, it looks like while at your child enticement case was pending, you were, there was another case that you picked up, on a bill jumping?
Yeah,
Can you tell us what that was about?
I used the computer. I wasn't supposed to use the computer.
And so both cases, you pled guilty
Yes.
in April of this year, and you're going to surrender and towards the end of September?
That's correct.
Now, okay, one thing I want to make clear, you didn't know, you didn't go looking for this, correct?
No.
But you were on Craigslist,
Yep.
and you were perusing,
Yep.
and then you found the ad,
Yep.
okay? You made contact, you reached
Initially,
out,
Yeah.
and then, where were you living at the time?
At my residence at 04 Colonial.
Okay, in Green Bay.
Yes.
And where were you arrested?
Shawano.
So you had to drive all the way to Shawano?
Yes.
And your sentence is 9 months of Huber?
9 months jail with Hewitt, yes.
With Huber,
Yep.
okay.
And you'll just live with your girlfriend at
Yes,
Colonial?
she is present here too.
Where's, you don't have to say where you work, but what city do you work in?
Here in Brown County.
Oh, Brown County, okay.
In Green Bay.
Yep.
Is Shawano County going to allow you to commute?
As far as I know, yes, and I'm working on a possible transfer to Brown County for that. Yeah, it was approved by the judge now.
Yeah, I believe they're full.
Yeah.
All right. Does anyone have any questions about his crime?
No.
Okay. We'd like to talk to you about your treatment, and you have the opportunity to do that in open or closed session. Which would you prefer?
Open's fine.
Okay. So, it looks like you had an assessment already completed.
Yeah, one by the state, one by myself and the lawyer.
Okay.
I turned in the one from the lawyer because that's the only one I'm allowed to turn in.
How come you can't turn the one in from?
But that one was ordered by the judge, and I was told he's the only one that's authorized to give it to anybody.
Oh.
That's
okay.
what I was told.
All right.
It's part of a PCI, I believe it was called.
Is that true?
PSI.
Or PSI.
PSI.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sentence investigation, okay. So you really actually you just had this assessment done, but you really haven't had treatment?
Treatment, yeah.
Are you going to be required to do any kind of sex offender treatment?
According to what I remember from the sentencing, it's supposed to be individual counseling. The judge did not want to have a group counsel situation because he said with my scores on the PCI and also my attorney is psychology assessment. He said people with the scores I have, if they're in a group, it's more likely to be a reoffender.
Okay.
Because on the test, it was like a 2, and with my age, it goes down to 0, basically.
Have you made any efforts, have you done anything to get the treatment, the one-on-one counseling yet?
I'm still working with my parole officer on the intake stuff in Kewanee County. I met with her today. We did more paperwork today.
So, your probation officer is looking for treatment in Kewanee County?
I'm not exactly sure. I meet with her next Wednesday again, and then we're supposed to go from there.
My concern, I'll tell you, honest, right up front, is that you have so many counties and you haven't been approved for anything yet as far as changing supervision to Brown County. You don't know if Huber in Shawano County is going to approve you working in Brown County. And you don't have any sex offender treatment lined up yet. And if the probation officer is looking in Kewanee County, then, you see what I'm saying? You may end up having to be all over, and that's a concern because what happens is, based on my review of your, of the evaluation, I'm not going to get into detail,
Yeah.
but that creates stress
Yeah.
when you have to sit there and formulate all that. So that's my concern right now.
Well, what was supposed to happen, I was supposed to be transferred to Brown County, but then with this being in place, that's why I had to locate to Kewanee County for the time being, because I didn't want to break any more laws or anything. And I'm just trying to cooperate and do what I'm supposed to do. Get the ball rolling so I can serve my time and become a productive citizen.
Well, and I guess, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to kind of disagree with you a little bit. I mean, they're really recommending you not to have any kind of sex offender treatment, that you really need education about sexual behavior, relationships, and that kind of thing, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And based on your past history with the military and all that, I mean, I think you have some wide resources available to you
Yes.
through maybe possibly the VA clinic. Okay. Have you reached out to them yet?
I worked with a guy at the vet center for a little bit. I need to get in contact with him some more, and we'll go from there,
Okay,
which I can do as soon as tomorrow.
okay. Does anyone have any other questions? Would anyone like to make a motion?
Is there anyone who probably just...
Oh, I'm sorry, did anyone want to speak on your behalf?
Do you need us to, I guess?
I mean, that's your call.
I mean, I think do I have to come up there?
Well, yes, you would need to come up here and state your name and address for the record.
My name is Anna Mert, M-E-E-R-T, 904 Colonial Avenue. I'm his girlfriend. I just wanted to say that this wasn't behavior that he had done previously. Obviously, it's been going on for a long time as far as the case and everything. And, you know, he works in Green Bay. He does band stuff. He works a lot. So it's not like he's just sitting around not being a productive member of society. He's trying to get on with it and get on with things. And again, I wouldn't still be with him if this was a pattern of behavior. So I really hope you just know that he would like to move on with his life. It's not going to happen again. Yeah. So I guess that's all I have to say. And even my mother's here on his behalf. So.
Do you want to say anything, or you're good?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you. Why am I right here? Oh, here. I'm right here, though. Oh, got it, sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. I was showing that I was still on the other person. Anybody want to make a motion?
I'm going to make a motion to approve Mr. Fulton, address specific 904 Colonial Avenue.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, we'll take a vote.
Motion passes 3-1.
Okay, so you're approved to live at 904 Colonial.
Okay,
You don't need to come back unless you decide to sell that and move somewhere else.
okay.
Would you like us to send you the letter there or to the Algoma address?
My address is fine, 904.
Okay. All right, thank you.
And as of today?
Yes, as of today.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Next up, we have Kevin Chicka. Okay, Mr. Chicka, this is your first time appearing before us, is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And you are requesting to move to 521 South Oakland Avenue?
Yes.
Okay. Again, we'll ask you what you were convicted of, the circumstances surrounding the offense, and then how it was brought to light. Again, please don't state the victim's name or your relationship to the victim. Okay, go ahead.
I was charged with first-degree sexual assault of a child under the age of 13. Climbed into bed with her, fondled her breast, buttocks, vagina, and groped her. And it came to light because her mother called the police on me. So.
Did she tell the mother?
Yes.
Okay. And how old were you?
I was 30 years old.
And she was how old?
12.
So what were you, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
What were you thinking? Why?
Sexual gratification. I've always been attracted to younger people. But that incident, I was not thinking. And something that happened, something that ruined my life, ruined her life. And I am really, really trying to move on with my life, even though I screwed up her life in the process.
And were you in a relationship with her mom?
Yes.
Commander, is that correct?
Yes.
Yes? Okay.
And it appears as though you had, hold on, almost done with that.
So it looks like you must be currently residing at the TLP. When
Yes.
did you get released from prison?
July 16th of this year.
Okay. And you have a job?
Yes.
And where are you working?
Out in Denmark. I'm working through a temp service, Seek, in Green Bay, but I'm working out at Solemn Partners in Denmark, full-time.
Okay. And you, have you signed up? Oh, well, we'll get to that question. Yep,
That's
sorry.
what I was
Yep,
going
yep,
to.
yep. Are you required to wear any kind of ankle bracelet, GPS,
Ankle bracelet.
for life?
No.
Just for your
Just-
probation?
Just until while I'm at the TLP.
Okay.
As soon as I find a residence, then I won't be on the bracelet anymore.
And you have 20 years of supervision?
Yes.
All right. Any more questions for him regarding his case? Okay, so we'd like to talk to you about your treatment. You have the opportunity to do that in closed or public session. What would you like to do?
Open.
Open? Okay, we'll continue. Does anyone have questions about his treatment?
It appears from the paperwork that you submitted that you've completed the SOT2
Yes.
treatment. And have you looked for anything, any additional treatment, or are you?
No, according to, I got a letter from my agent
Okay.
stating that I completed program while I was incarcerated and that there's no further treatment
Okay.
that I need.
Pass that down.
And just for the record, I am an alcoholic, so I am attending AA meetings. I have my paycheck stubs. I have a copy of the AA meetings where everybody in the group signed it.
Oh, we don't,
Just,
that's confidential. We don't need that card.
But I got paycheck stubs too, so. But as far as any kind of treatment, they're not recommending any.
Where did you do your treatment at?
Oshkosh Correctional.
Okay, how long of a program was that?
It was a year.
Okay. Can you tell us what you learned out of that?
I learned everything. Just about emotions, about feelings, about how to deal with different situations, how to deal with relationships, triggers, what my triggers are, just about myself, who I was, who I want to be, and how not to get out of prison and reoffend. I tell everybody that when I was in there that has to go through group that they're like, oh, well, I'm thinking about not taking group. And I said, do it. I said, because it's the best thing that you'll ever do while you're incarcerated. I said, because everything you learn is just so good. So.
Okay, so tell us, what are your triggers?
Just young girls under the ages of 18. This is my first sexual case. I don't have a past of it. I'm not going to have a future of it. So just different things like things on TV and stuff just to look out for and just to know who I am. My drinking was a big problem back then. I've been sober for 10 years. Just putting myself in different situations and staying out of those situations is the best thing for me. So.
And your support system?
I have my dad, mom, brother, my immediate family, aunts, uncles. I have friends at work now that I'm getting to know better. I haven't been working that long, but I have the people at the AA meetings to reach out to if I need support. So the support system is there, a lot of support, which.
And the people who support you, where do they live?
They live in Illinois.
Okay. Who do you have here?
Here I have nobody. My daughter is in Green Bay, but I don't have. I talk to her on the phone, and that's the only contact I have. So I want to stay in Green Bay. I want to start my life over. I want to try to rebuild my relationship back with my daughter. I know it's going to take a long time and it may never happen.
How old is she?
She is 16. And I know it's hard on her, hard on me, hard on my victim. I'm just trying to move forward and better myself by keeping a steady job, by doing the right things. And 10 years in prison just made me realize everything that I've done wrong before I committed my crime. So.
What do you do in your off time when you're not working?
AA meetings. I go to AA meetings 3 to 4 times a week. Since I've been released, I've been looking for apartments, places to live, and just watching TV, reading books, and I have a couple friends in Green Bay that I hang out with, go over to their apartment and just watch TV or play a video game, and that's it. I like to keep to myself. I like to hang out with friends and stuff, but For my free time, I just like to relax, especially working 6:30 in the morning till 2:30 in the afternoon. I'll get home, cook something to eat, and just relax, watch some TV, read a book, just to keep my focus on what I need to do.
How do you get to work?
I take, Seek offers a van that picks me up at the Green Bay Plaza and drives me to work. And then as soon as I get off work, the van's there to pick me up and drive me back. And just make a note, the company has been talking to me the last couple of days about hiring me on, because I'm supposed to work 400 hours through the temp service, but if the company wants to hire me on before that, they can. So I filled out the application. My kind of supervisor at the company came to me, told me to fill out an application and turn it in because he wants to get the ball rolling on getting me hired on to the company straight. So.
Do you ever have to take the city bus?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, out to work or
Or
just-
anywhere?
Oh, yes,
Okay.
yes.
So my concern is, you made the comment that you're attracted to younger women.
Yes.
How do you handle that on the bus?
I don't pay attention to them. Even like walking down the street, if they're on the same side of the street, cross over, go to the other side of the street. I avoid situations at all costs.
If, for example, they do hire you full-time,
Yes,
okay, and you live in Green Bay, you said you work in Denmark,
yes.
how are you going to handle transportation?
I've been talking to one of my friends that I met at the company that lives in the west side of Green Bay that will be more than happy to give me a ride to and from work because he knows my situation, to getting to and from work. That I don't have a vehicle or anything, so.
Does anyone have any other questions?
No.
Is there anybody who would like to make a vote? Oh, I'm sorry, do you have somebody to speak on your behalf?
Yes, I do.
Sorry. Come on up, please. You just state your name and address for the record.
My name's Ed Chicka, 9942 Constitution Court, Orland Park, Illinois. Kevin's biggest problem was alcohol. That was the root of all evil. His mother was a alcoholic, and she would hallucinate, and Kevin, he's not a predator. He has the support. We've visited him every month, every couple of weeks in prison for 10 years. My wife, his stepmother that he calls mom. As far as, as soon as he got out of prison, we were here for a week looking for apartments, looking for jobs with him, helping him, facilitating, because he doesn't have a driver's license. But we are trying to get that. He just went to Illinois for an evaluation for alcohol, and so we're trying to get that into the works. Working, he's worked 6 days a week, not 5, 6 days a week. So the only day he has off is Sunday, and after work from 3 o'clock to 8 o'clock to try and look for an apartment, look for another full-time job if this doesn't work into a full-time job. He did choose to come back here because he lived here for 6 years before he was incarcerated. He did plead guilty so that the girl that was involved would not have to testify. And, people have said that maybe if he wouldn't have, he might not have got 10 years because it was a first offense. But that's hindsight. He just wants to move forward. We as a family want to help him move forward. I have a relationship with his daughter. We see her birthdays, Christmas, things like that. So hopefully in time, with some counseling, they can get back together. And that's why he wants to live here in Green Bay. So.
Sir, one thing that you mentioned is you said you had your son evaluated in Illinois.
Yes, because he had a DUI and lost his license. And he can't get his license in Wisconsin until he clears up the case in Illinois.
Okay, gotcha.
So the first thing is to do that, so he has to have an alcohol evaluation, and then he has to go in front of a hearing before Illinois. Once he gets that cleared up, then hopefully he'll get his license, and then he will have a vehicle to drive to work and have a functioning life and be a productive person.
Thank you.
Since he said he got released in July, how often have you been back here?
This is my third time.
Third time?
We were here for a week
Yeah.
the first time, then we were here 2 weekends ago, and then I was here yesterday and today again.
Do you think you'll be able to maintain coming back here for him?
Yes, because we went to Oshkosh at least once to twice a month, and we visited our granddaughter up here in Green Bay, which is only 45 minutes further north than Oshkosh, on a regular basis.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Anybody else? Any further questions? Okay. Thank you.
just a-
Yep, go ahead. Anybody want to make a motion? Comments?
I'll make a motion to approve Mr. Chicka. Chicka, sorry. Address specific, 521 South Oakland Avenue, apartment 2.
I'll second.
We'll take a vote on that.
Motion to approve passes 3-1.
Okay, so you're approved to move to, I don't remember, sorry, here. 521 South Oakland, address specific. If you decide to move from that location, you will need to come back here.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
All right, good luck.
Thank you very much.
You want me to send a letter to Oakland?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
Next on the agenda is Joseph Kopke. You're welcome.
I'm on the appeal docket, can I run to the bathroom real quick?
Oh, sure. Okay. Mr. Kopke, is that the correct way to say your name?
It's Kopke, but close enough.
Okay. So this is the first time you've appeared before the board?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so again, we're gonna ask what you were convicted of. Again, please don't state the victim's name or relationship.
Okay.
So, go ahead.
I was convicted of second-degree sexual assault of a child here in Brown County, and also 2 counts of second-degree sexual assault of a child in Winnebago County.
In what county?
Winnebago?
Winnebago.
And how old were you?
I was 23 at the time.
And how old were the victims?
The victims are both 14 years old.
And what did you actually do?
With the victim in Brown County, I'm not used to calling victims, but the victim in Brown County, I had sexual intercourse with. I befriended her. She was a coworker, and so I groomed her in that manner, and met with her on one occasion at her house, during which we had sexual intercourse. I kissed and fondled her breasts, and during the assault. And in the Winnebago case, I met with the victim on 2 different occasions. One time I met with her at my apartment in Oshkosh, because that's where I was going to college. And the other time was at her house. At both times we kissed and I fondled her breast and buttocks. And we attempted to have sexual intercourse, but we were unsuccessful. I was promptly arrested after I told the victim down in Winnebago that I no longer wanted to see her, and then she contacted the police and I was arrested. The victim in Brown County was the first case, and she told a friend told the counselor told to contact the police. So I actually talked to a Green Bay detective in February, because the Brown County case happened December 30th of 2003, and then I talked to the detective on February 10th of 2004, and gave a full statement confessing to the whole incident. And the case in Winnebago happened in late April and beginning of May. And when that came late, that's when I was arrested in Winnebago County.
So you were basically told an investigator that yes, you sexually assaulted a 13-year-old, and then you went and did it again. Is that what you're telling us?
A 14-year-old. Yes,
A 14-year-old?
Yes, ma'am.
Why? I mean, why?
I was in, like I said, I was in college. I was being very promiscuous. I was sleeping with several different women, and just not really caring anything about the women. It was just all about the fact of having sex.
Well, I'm a young women, but if you're in college, there's women there too that are of age.
Yes, ma'am. And I was sleeping with them. I was sleeping with, like I said, several different women. It was I was in college. I was an opportunist. So if the opportunity presented itself, I'd have sexual relations with that person.
And you were well aware that both these victims were 14 years old?
Yes, ma'am.
Commander, is that correct? At least for the Brown?
For the Brown County case, yes.
Okay. So for the Brown County case, it says you got 15 years, but you served 6 years, 10 months. I'm assuming the 15 years includes your extended supervision, or
Yes,
what
please.
happened?
Well, Winnebago County case actually sentenced first.
Okay.
So, well, they sentenced, and then Brown County sentenced there consecutively. So I actually served 8 years straight during the incarceration.
And how long are you on paper for?
I will get off paper in 2024.
And is your probation agent in Brown County or Winnebago County?
Brown County. Because I was my permanent residence.
Okay.
I was only in Oshkosh for college.
Okay. And when did you get out of prison?
2012. May 29, 2012.
So where have you been for the last, how many years? 5 years? Or 2012, 7 years?
Well, when I got out, I was actually allowed to, I was grandfathered into the residence at 1031 Clayton Place, because that's what was my permanent residence prior to being incarcerated.
Yes?
The original version of the ordinance did allow that.
Okay. And then you lived there for how long?
And I lived there while my mom passed away, and then I continued living there until the house went into foreclosure.
Which was when?
That was actually 2000, when was it? The end of 2016.
And where have you been since then?
I went back on revocation.
Why?
Because I was caught on a dating site. And that is the reason why I have a no social media restriction on my rules of supervision.
Did you know you weren't supposed to be on a social?
At the time, I had a rule where I was not allowed any internet access of any kind.
So then why did you go on it?
I went on it because I justified it by, well, it was thinking error, but I justified it by, well, it's not illegal, I'm not, doing anything wrong. So it was the wrong way of thinking.
And you were revoked for how long?
I was revoked for a little over 2 years.
No, go ahead.
And I got out in January.
In your letter to the board, it states that your intent is to get a civil engineering degree?
I'd like to progress into civil engineering degree. Right now I'm a laborer with the local 330. And I'm even working on the Green Bay packaging $600 million expansion. So I'm a pipe layer at the moment. But well, laborers only last so long. So my body's not going to last that long. So if I further my education, then I have something I can do when my body's, no longer able to do what I'm doing now.
And it also says that you have 4 approved chaperones. What is that?
Chaperones are trusted people by the probation officer.
Okay.
That hold us accountable for our actions, and people that we rely on. They're key people in our support system.
So, are you only allowed to be outside with one of these 4 people, or what is that? What is, I mean?
Oh, no. Chaperones, let's say I want to do special things, like go on a vacation, and it would not be approved without a chaperone.
And when you were on the dating website, what you put who you're looking for, what did you put?
I was just, well, they're females.
Age?
Around my age.
Do we have any other questions about his case? No. So if we'd like to talk to you about treatment, would you like to do that in closed or public session?
Public session.
Okay. So what kind of treatment have you received?
I've had treatment at Family Services. I started with James Drake Group, and also had treatment with the Attic Corrections, and also with Red Granite Correctional. So I've had a total of 291 hours of treatment.
When was your last?
It was with Red Granite Correctional.
How long was that program?
That was 1 year.
Do you have documentation that you completed that?
Well, documentation from my PO saying that I completed it successfully and have no further needs right now.
Okay. Do you know when you were released from prison, were you an SBN?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Where have you been staying? It says that you.
I've been jumping around hotels and friends' houses. My chaperones, Brandon Lindsley and Adam Hazard and other friends.
And what's your support system now?
My support system is the 2 fellows I just mentioned, and also my Aunt Bonnie, who's in the back of the room, my Aunt Rosemary's back of the room, Leah from Windows to Work, she's also here as well. She helps me out with things I need for work or anything like that.
And where do they all live?
They all live here in Green Bay. That's where I was born and raised, where I graduated high school.
Do you have any issues with alcohol or drugs, or had you in the past?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
It's not even a rule of my supervision.
It's not a rule?
It's not a rule of my supervision.
So if you wanted to go have a beer right now, it's okay?
Yes.
Wow.
Would I? No. I'm not a drinker.
Okay.
So there was no alcohol or drugs involved in the,
Commission of the crime.
in the accidents?
Yes, ma'am.
Nothing?
Nothing.
When did you last go on the dating site?
When did I last? July of 2016.
Okay,
Right
so
before I
this
was
is after you've already done all your treatment,
Mhm.
and then still went on it.
Well, I had, I've had the further treatment at Red Granite after that as well.
Okay.
That was the one more year after, in Red Granite that I had the treatment.
So, along those lines, maybe you can explain to me, you're released,
Yes.
you know what your conditions are, what you're allowed and not allowed to do,
Mhm.
and knowing that you don't want to go back to prison, and you've had all this treatment, right?
Right.
But you knowingly go on an app, create a profile,
Mhm.
and create a profile and look at profiles of young women. What have you learned? What was your trigger? What have you learned so that we know that you're not going to do it again?
My trigger was isolation. I withdraw from my support system, and when I did that, I got on the computer, and that's where I proceeded to make the profile. So, like right now, for example, I really don't isolate myself. I talk to my support system daily, and like my buddy Adam, we're always doing stuff on the weekends. I'm helping Brandon renovate his house. My Aunt Bonnie's constantly calling and texting me to make sure I'm doing what I need to be doing. Even my cousin Stephanie, she's been big as well. I've been over to her house many times and help her with various projects and whatnot.
Your support system, does everybody understand why you were in prison?
Yes, they do. All the chaperones that are mentioned, they'll have to meet on a one-on-one with my PO, and they actually read the criminal complaint.
Okay.
Does anyone have any further questions?
No.
Is there any of those people would like to speak on your behalf?
I also have a letter from Leah from Windows to Work as well.
Okay, all right. He's providing us a letter from Family Services. Talks about him being in the Windows to Work reentry program. Basically, it's about job retention, resumes, community resources.
And they also have a CGIP portion of the program too, cognitive thinking and prevention.
Okay. All right. If you could just state your name and address for the record.
Bonnie Van Vonderen, 2374 Nicole Circle, Green Bay.
Okay.
I
I'm
am
sorry,
just
what's your name?
Bonnie Van Vonderen. You want me to spell it?
Yes, please.
V-A-N, capital V-O-N-D-E-R-E-N.
Thank you.
Yeah, you go from Boulogne to Van Vonderen, it's a lot. That's why my kids are Amy, Paul, and Sarah. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Since Joe's dad died when he was in prison, and we've been down there to tell him, which was very devastating. He died of a massive heart attack. And then 5 years later, his mother died of a stroke. And since then, I've been pretty much taking care of Joe and his brother. They're like my kids. They lost their parents at a very, very young age, too young. And so I still give them Christmas presents because I feel sorry for them at Christmas time because they don't have any parents, you know. So, and Joe's the kind of kid, smart, and he knows how to do stuff, and he knows when I ask him to get something done, it's done immediately. He knows Aunt Bonnie doesn't want it yesterday, she wants it now. And so when I do call him and say, Joe, get over here, come on and help me, he is there immediately. And my husband and I are 71 years old, so anyhow, if we can get, our big project is going to be a bridge over our creek, because we lost it in the flood, so he's going to be over there almost every weekend helping out. And he's working his job 42 to 50 hours a week. When he gets home, in fact, I called him last Friday night at 6 o'clock, because I usually call him almost every day, either text him. I call him, he didn't answer, so then I call back. And he's, Aunt Bonnie, I'm sleeping, I am dead tired, I worked all week. I go, sorry Joe, good night, talk to you tomorrow. So he is a very hard-working kid, and I know he's on the right track. And this company likes him so much for what he's doing that they want to keep him on for the winter. So that's wonderful. So, and he's putting money away, opened up a savings account. I'm on the account with him. So, you know, I pretty much keep a thumbs.
And the company I work for is August Winter and Sons.
I'm sorry, you said you lived in Green Bay, correct?
Bellevue.
Bellevue. Can I ask why you wouldn't let him live with you?
Because I have grandchildren, and until I'm what is that? That I have to be chaperone, I cannot have, he cannot come to those little kids.
And Bellevue's ordinance is a little stricter too, and she lives right by Justin Park.
I live right by Justin Park. The first time he came home, after he was out of prison the first time, he came to visit us right away, and he's gonna be on the bracelet for the rest of his life.
Oh, you are a lifetime GPS?
Yes,
Yeah, lifetime
Okay.
GPS.
Because there's two different
Because of the
occurrences.
SBN?
Yeah, and so he came over to our house and he's sitting there, we're talking, and I made him his apple pie, because he loves apple pie, and he's eating, and all of a sudden his beeper goes off, and he got arrested that night, because he was by the park, and we didn't know he couldn't, we live, was it the
No,
park?
it was because of the time.
Oh, the time, yeah.
The PO didn't adjust the time,
Okay.
and that's why.
Yeah, so it was just, when I was back in jail.
That was shortly after I got out in 2012. There was 3 GPS malfunctions where within the first month I was arrested.
Okay.
Yeah, and then one time after that, it was the GPS, the battery went dead, and, you know, and then when you get put back in jail, it's a week before you get out, so it's very hard. But he will have to deal with it the rest of his life.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
Oh, thank you. Can I leave now?
Does the board have any further questions, or would anybody like to make a motion?
Motion to approve address specific for 90 days? Period of 90 days?
To come back for what? What do you want to come back?
Just to check in and my concern is this. It's one thing you had the 2 offenses,
That's fine.
and you pled guilty. Everything was taken care of. It's the fact that you went and violated, having all those things going so well for you, and you violated. And now that you're going to be by yourself, and your issue is isolation, that's a concern. Okay?
And
So,
even the landlord I'm renting to is a former coworker of my mother.
Okay.
And so he knows me, and he even does check up on me as well.
So that's my concern. I just want to make sure everything's going well, no violations. Because when you're couch surfing, you're with people that you know, who you have the camaraderie, you have the interaction. So when you go back to being on your own again, there's that draw to go by yourself, be by yourself again.
Is there a second?
I will second that.
Motion to approve for 90 days passes 3-1.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
So you're gonna have to come back in 90 days. We'll send you a letter. And whatever she's requested, that's what you'll need to bring back.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you very
Yep.
much.
Next on the agenda, we have Ricky Bridges.
How you guys doing?
Good, yourself?
I'm okay. Appreciate you guys for meeting with me.
Yep. This is the first time you've appeared before us, correct?
Yeah, this is true.
Okay. So as you've heard, we're going to ask you to tell us about what you were convicted of, tell us about the offense, how it came to light, and then we ask that you don't list the victim's name or relationship.
Okay.
Okay? So what happened?
Well, I was charged with first-degree sexual contact with a child under the age of 13. 2 counts of that, and also 2 counts of disorderly conduct.
We don't care about the disorderly conduct, just the sex offenses.
Just the sex offenses.
Mhm.
Okay, well, see, I'm not really sure, so the other three charges were read in but dismissed, so I think I was only convicted of the 1 charge. So that's what I was convicted of, that 1 charge.
And what happened? What did you do?
Well, in an altered state of mind, I was at a park and I inappropriately touched a person, a young child.
And how old were you?
I was 27. Yeah, and so the child that I was convicted of touching was 7. The other child was 10. Yeah.
How did you inappropriately touch him? What did you do?
Well, the 1 child, I inappropriately touched her on the butt. The second person, I inappropriately touched him in the groin area. Yeah.
Were they both girls?
No, 1 was a male, 1 was a female.
Okay.
Yeah.
And was this on one occasion, one incident?
This was all in the same instance. It was.
And you said you were in an altered state of mind. What does that mean?
After being evaluated by a bunch of different medical teams, I realized that I had schizophrenia, or schizoaffective is what they call it now. And that was due to a long history of chronic homelessness. So I was going through a period of auditory hallucinations. I was hearing voices and things like that. And while at this park, I was given the impression I had tried to, instead of going and getting help, I take full responsibility for that. I should have went out, tried to get help. Instead, I tried to fix it on my own. So I tried a bunch of different coping methods. And one was, the main thing was trying to ground myself back into reality. So while at this park, I got under the impression, these voices gave me the indication that if I took such an extreme action, as to inappropriate touch these young children, that would shock my system back into reality. Because that's what I was doing. I would go around and try to ground myself. So it was a poor judgment, it was. And then ultimately it didn't work. It just gave me a lot worse, gave me a much harder path to take. So, but that is the reason why it happened. So.
Commanders, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And how were you caught? How did it?
Well, I guess, so after the incident happened, I walked home, went back home, and about 2 or 3 days later, I was called walking from Walmart. The officers pulled up on me, came out, asked me some questions, and then they said that some kids said that they saw me chasing some kids, which is why I was given the disorderly conduct for scaring and chasing kids. So those kids said that they witnessed me doing that, and that's why I got arrested. That everything else came to light, and I got taken to jail and had to go to court and things like that. So.
And so you were sentenced to a period of 2 years?
I did 1 year in Brown County, and then I also did 1 year in prison in Oshkosh. So yeah, that 1 year in Brown County was going through the motions of trial. Yeah.
And when did you get released from prison?
I believe it was July 9th.
And
this year?
This year, yeah.
And are you currently at the TLP?
I am, yeah.
Okay. All right. And you're looking to move to 921 Harvey, correct?
Yeah. Upper.
Okay.
Yep.
I do have a question on that, because when I looked up that address, there was a gentleman living at the Upper, and then when I looked him up, he was verified there in May, but nothing since, but he's still listed as living in that Upper.
Yeah, I can answer that for you. The thing is, the landlord, I actually had 2 other options before this one. Some of them were kind of risky. I did some consulting with my support team, and we came to the conclusion that this third option, which is 922 Upper, would probably be the best option to come and bring to you guys. So with that being in mind, the landlord, it was kind of a last minute, but the landlord felt that the tenant that was staying, which is the tenant I think you looked up, he wasn't doing what he was supposed to do. So the landlord came to a decision to move him out and move me in. So I think at the time that you looked him up, he was probably still listed on there, but after everything, after this process is over with, if I'm approved, then I will sign the lease and he will be moved out. I will be moved in, and we're looking to do this by October 1st. Yeah.
Okay. And where are you working at?
Green Bay Plastics.
And you work third shift, is that correct?
I do, yeah.
Okay. And it says here that you do go to the Micah Center and the Circles of Support.
I do, yeah, yeah.
How often do you go to the Circles of Support?
This every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday?
Every Wednesday, yeah.
Okay.
Right before work.
All right. Does anyone have any further questions regarding his crime?
No.
Okay. So we'd like to discuss treatment with you. You can do that in private or open or closed session, which would you prefer?
We do open.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so it looks like you have not done any kind of treatment yet. You were referred, but you didn't get in yet?
Yeah, this is true. The fact is, I was only sentenced to 1 year in prison, so by the time I got to Oshkosh, they were telling me that I didn't have enough time. But while in Oshkosh, I did do schooling. I did schooling, and so now that I've gotten out, being that, you only have about 2 months at the TLP, the main focus was trying to get to you guys in time. But I did, my probation officer was able to help me put a rush on things. So at first, she was able to give me this letter. She typed up this letter stating that she referred me with a time and date. But that letter is actually relevant now because just yesterday she was able to come up with a time and date set.
Oh, so when is that going to be?
So, I'm not really sure if you guys actually take letters from probation officers, but yeah, she sent this. I wasn't able to be with her, so.
Yeah, well, can we just maybe read it
Yeah,
on the
you can read it
record?
though, yeah.
Is that all right if I do that?
Appreciate that.
All right, so this is dated September 10th. Ricky, SOT assessment is scheduled for Tuesday, September 17th at 8:55 a.m. with Pablo, 2311 University Ave in the back of building, up the metal stairs. Your out time to complete it on this day will be 2 p.m. Show this to the board tomorrow. Agent Barbara Villanueva Mata.
Yeah, now we know that's uncommon, but she, the fact is, I asked her to put a rush on things, and I guess she felt like, it was the last minute thing, so she just tried to do what she could.
All right, on a different note that I kind of maybe have some concerns. So you indicated that you were schizoaffective.
Yeah.
Do you take medication for that, or who officially diagnosed you with that?
So as far as being schizoaffective, I was officially diagnosed with the name of it by Dr. Michael Mitchell Lane at Bellinger Health.
Okay.
But prior before that, when I first went to Brown County, I was seen by a bunch of different nurses and things from psychiatric nurses from Crisis Hospital. So what they diagnosed it as was paranoid disorder and unspecified psychosis. So I took that. I went to Mendota for a period of time, got evaluated by them, and by that time, when I entered into Oshkosh, I was being put on medicine. One was citalopram, the other one was antidepressant. So I'm sorry, I actually was administered those medicines at Brown County. So I was taking those throughout the whole time. And by the time I got to Oshkosh, I was seeing another psychiatric nurse, and she was telling me that we can start to wean down off the medicine if I feel a little bit better. Because of the structure of the environment and the medicine, I was coming back down to reality. It was easier for me to cope. So at the end of my term, I might be jumping ahead, but at the end of my term, I received help from LEA, which is the Windows to Work program. And it deals with job readiness, but it also deals with cognitive thinking. So with that, it helped me refresh and familiarize myself with the outside, get prepared to come back to the outside. Once I did, I signed up for Bellinger Health. I seen Mitchell Lynn, and we first did a physical check, physical care, and then he also evaluated me for psychiatric health, mental health, and he told me that it was schizoaffective disorder. That's what it sounds like, which also runs in the family. But he referred me to a psychiatrist, and this is the letter that he gave me to give to you guys.
Okay, so this was dated September 5th, and that he's placed a referral to psychiatry. Is he doing that referral, through Bellin, or is it through Brown County?
It's through Bellinger. I established through Bellinger Health.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did he prescribe you any medication at this point, or is he waiting for the psychiatrist?
I think he's waiting for the psychiatrist. I told him that I was told by the doctors at Oshkosh that I'm good on the medication now, but if I ever need it, you know, they gave me a bunch of different documents to show, so I can just go get the medicine. You know, I can get to some pharmacies or things like that and get that medicine back if I ever need that medicine again. But right now, it's just if I feel like I need it again. You know, but as far as to answer your question, he said he's just waiting for the psychiatrist to figure that out. So, yeah.
And do you think that you'll know when that moment happens?
I will. Yeah, I think the biggest problem was not being aware of it. You know, that's the reason why I tried to handle it on my own. Like I said, I take full responsibility for not going to get help. But at the same time, you know, if you're not aware of exactly what's going on with you, you might think that the decision you're making is the best one. You know, the judgments that you're making are the best ones. And fully aware of it now, especially after doing so much time, you know, after doing a year in prison, fully aware of my condition, and I'm learning more about it. So I do know that, and with the support team that I have, I do know that if any symptoms came about, you know, it would be a lot easier for me to go and reach out to somebody and get that taken care of. So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. Does the board have any further questions?
How long, you may have said it and I apologize, I don't remember. How long are you on supervision?
For 6 years.
6 years?
Yeah.
And do you have, what about support in the area?
As far as support goes, I do have a strong support system now, way more than I did before. As far as professional support, I have Windows to Work, which is Leah. She'll be helping me out throughout the year. Circles of Support, which is Terry. The Michael Center, I have a caseworker named Lisa, and I meet with her during different weeks, sometimes, you know, every week. Right now, there's a recovery group at a church called Living Hope Church, and that's a recovery group. So it's not like going to church, which is, you know, I can't really attend right now because of the situation. So, but that's in progress. I've had my probation officer talk to the pastor and everything. And this recovery group is for addicts and things like that, just getting out of jail. So there'll be another support system once I get established with them. Green Bay Plastics has a free support line for everybody who works there. And the last person that would probably be of some help would probably be my agent, Mrs. Mata. She can direct me and, you know, and to any resources that I might be looking for. Family support, I have Timona, which is my cousin, and Diamond. They both live separately in Green Bay. They've been living here for a few years. I have a cousin, Darnell, he lives in Milwaukee. And I also have an auntie named Susie, who lives in Waukesha. And they're just, you know, about a few minutes away. They can just drive up here, so.
Yeah, it's a little bit more than a few minutes.
Well, yeah.
That's a lot of minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any further questions?
No.
Okay. And it looks like Larry wants to speak on your behalf?
Yeah, so instead of Terry, Larry is here. And I also have Leah from Windows to Work if she wants to say a few things. So she also gave me a letter too. I don't know if you have to get that.
Sure. We'll take this letter first. So this is a letter from Leah,
Case manager through Family Services, indicating that you're participating in the Windows to Work program. Basically talking about job retention, resumes. You're working one-on-one with the case manager, including individualized case management support and limited financial assistance for up to 1 year after you're released.
Yeah.
Okay. Larry, if you can just state your name and address for the record.
Larry Heacock, Chestnut Lane, Freedom, Wisconsin. I'm a volunteer with Volunteers Circles of Support, and just want to verify that he's been with us offering a thoughtful, positive contributor on the Circles of Support. He's been there on a very regular basis. He has a thought-out plan of what he's going to be doing, his actions of, you know, getting the job, getting a place to live. And one interesting thing is that he's always he's wants to rebuild his reputation and bring that back to the table. So I just really want to emphasize that he's on the right path, he's doing the right things, and is a great contributor with us. So just really what I want to share.
Okay, thank you. Okay, anything further? Anybody else? Do you want to speak, or the letter's good?
I think I don't have anything else new to add unless
Okay.
anyone has any questions about the Windows to Work program. I can happily address those.
Okay, would anybody like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion for Mr. Bridges to move to 921 Harvey Street, Upper, address specific.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we'll take a vote on that.
Motion to approve passes 3-1.
Okay, so you're approved to move to 921 Harvey Street, Upper. If you wish to move from that location, you will need to come back here.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, appreciate
Would you
it.
like us to mail you that letter to the Harvey address or to the TLP?
How long, how fast does it come, do you know?
In the next couple of days.
Oh, yeah, so yeah, the TLP will be good then, 1761 Sean Avenue.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, can I just make a suggestion to
Yeah.
you? Please continue with the Circles of Support.
Yeah,
I really hope that you do. They're a very good program.
thank you. Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
Can I withdraw at this point? What do I need to remove myself? As not a voter?
Yeah, just,
Close out?
yeah, I can log you out as a.
Okay, I apologize. So go ahead and take over. Sorry, ladies. And a note, I will not be here next month. I have a training on it.
Okay, next up, Nikolas O'Hagan. Okay. Okay, Mr. O'Hagan, you're here to bring in documentation of enrollment, attendance of mental health treatment program. Do you have that with you?
Yes. Here's my registration fee, here's the paperwork. And I was supposed to go to options, but my insurance wouldn't take options, and it was like $2,000 for like a year. So I said I got this treatment, which is a lot less, and it's called Life Skills of Wisconsin.
Are you registered now?
Yeah, I'm registered. Here's our registration fee. We're supposed to have my first meeting was supposed to be last week. They currently moved from Packerland into Howard on Wooddale. So that meeting last week was here, so my actual first meeting is gonna be this Sunday.
And this program is equal to what you were originally going to go to?
Yes. It's not as long. This one's only like 9 months. The other one's a year. But you know, I mean, I did this on my own account. Like I'm not required to do this by anyone.
Okay.
And if I may, and this is for the mental health?
Yes.
Okay.
And I am still working. I brought my last week's paycheck stuff just so you guys know that I'm still working.
Okay.
Up top, right.
And how is that going for you?
It's hard. I work in American Foods, so it's like, it gets rough, but, you know,
Have you been looking for something else?
no. I like it, it's hard, but I like it there. There's a lot of good people there.
What shift do you work?
I work second shift. I actually have to go there right after here.
Otherwise, everything's going okay?
Yeah, everything's still going good. Haven't had no violations. I've been doing good, staying out of trouble. Everything's been going good.
Good.
That's all you want? Anybody else have anything?
Nothing. Nope.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve Mr. Verhagen to 1319 Day Street, address specific.
Seconded.
Motion passes unanimously.
Good luck.
Yes.
Thank you.
David Koopman? Okay, Mr. Koopman, you're supposed to bring your documentation of employment, SLT, training and volunteer work for.
Yes. This would be my employment. This would be my sex offender treatment. And this is the verification of my volunteer work in the O'Connell County Jail.
How often do you do that?
Once a week, every Tuesday.
You set up with these Melissa?
Oh, yeah, that's fine, yeah, thank you. So you're going all the way up to Oconto, once a week?
O'Connell, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
How else is everything going?
Everything's going great. Status quo.
Good.
Okay, anybody else have any questions?
No, I don't either.
Motion to approve address specific to 709 Pine Street, Green Bay.
I'll second.
Motion to approve passes unanimously.
Okay, we're all set, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank
Good
you.
luck. Joshua Hanky. Hi.
I did send stuff in, like recommendations and stuff like.
Yeah, I have everything that you gave me, I sent to the board.
Okay, thank you very much.
There's nothing in the letter, so let's see. I just have to review because I wasn't at the meetings, I just wanted to see.
Oh, he's moving.
Yeah,
This
don't-
isn't to come back.
What?
This isn't when he's coming back, he's moving for the address.
Oh, okay.
My father-in-law passed away.
Through that,
Yeah, my
yeah.
father-in-law passed away, and we didn't know he had a reverse mortgage, so when it was time to pay the mortgage, we went downtown to see if we could transfer, and found out there was a reverse mortgage, and there was a large sum that we couldn't afford. So I got married and everything October 29th of last year. And my wife is at that address and everything now, and that's who I want to move in with, is my wife and my stepson Zach.
At the Chestnut
Yeah,
address.
on the Chestnut, yep. For the last week, I've been, because I know the rules and everything, like week and a half, I've been staying at my storage unit for 4 days, and then at the apartment for 3 days, and I've been going back, because no more than 3 days. So, I know the rules about that, so, today hopefully is a blessing. I've been at Pioneer Metal now for a year and a couple months. Great job to work for. That's where all my letter of recommendations came from.
Okay.
So,
Are you still enrolled or attending NWTC?
no, I was, but then my father-in-law passed away and stuff like that, so it kind of emotionally going there, and then some people were older also, you know, still trying, so it kind of hit me hard. So, but my plan is to obtain that GED way before I'm done with supervision. As of today, I've been on probation for 8 years. I have not been incarcerated, reoffended, been in jail once, no tickets, nothing. Constantly talking to my PO every 2 weeks. So she's been wanting to do once a month, but we'll find out after today. So I got a good relationship with her. If something really bad is bothering me, that's the first person besides my wife I actually call. So there's ups and downs, you know, emotionally here and there. I mean, I have my bad days. Sometimes I don't want to wake up in the morning and deal with life, but that's how it is.
So what gives you the motivation? Well, you just said kind
My
of.
wife and my stepson, I have a beautiful stepson who's 19, and last 5 years he has taught me patience and diversity. I have 2 regular sons I don't see due to their mother. One's autistic, had a good relationship with him and my other boy, but one moved out of town, so I don't see him as much. And the child with autism, the mother kind of veers off that she doesn't really want him alone. And not because of my case, but she coddles him, is understandable. He's 14 now, and his mindset is like a child. So very understandable that don't want to be left alone. My motivation is literally my family now. Like I said, my 19-year-old has truly showed me diversity and patience. Like any child, he has made me grow into a better man. Literally am able to talk to him. I wouldn't be able to do that in the past. Like he would do something and I would just brush it off. He's not my damn child. I'm sorry, my language. You know, he's not my child. You know, don't need to deal with it. She deals with my crap every day. Talk about how bad work is or how good work is, and, you know, stuff like that. So it's been a great year, married with this woman. So past 5 years have been awesome.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions?
I do not.
No, I do not.
Would your wife like to talk on your behalf?
Take your time, sweetheart.
Now that I'm blushed. Okay, Josh has done really good for the last. Oh, I'm sorry.
Say your name, honey.
Janine Hanky, 1315 South Chestnut, Apartment 1. Josh has been good for the last 5 years. Sorry, just holding in this. No offenses. Done really good. From when he first began, you know, life was rough, to where he is now. You would not think that he's the same person. Growing, our hard time was when my dad died. You know, but through that we pulled together, grew as a family, and, you know, grew stronger. I don't know what else to say. He has his job. It's made me proud to where he got to this point right now. It's just I'm very proud of him.
I had a hard time trusting people when I first got released because I had the target on my back that I'm a sex offender, so I thought automatically people knew and they had it out for me.
So he learns to deal with that really well. He knows about that, you know, and that everybody is and has their opinion, but he knows who he is as a person and that the offense happened and, you know, it doesn't define who he is today. It is how you move forward and learn from your mistakes and everything that has happened. So,
How long have you lived at this address?
this I have lived at a month. We were on the verge of being homeless and I needed to find a place to go because I'm diabetic and I have 2 dogs. So I had to find a place early so I could be out of the heat and I didn't have to lose my dogs.
They're her emotional support dogs.
Yeah, they're my emotional support animals. So he's pretty much been in the storage.
Okay.
I did have a letter from the landlord stating he knows my case and he would easily rent to me.
Yep.
So
Okay. Anybody else want to speak? Okay, anyone want to make a motion?
I'm gonna make a motion to approve Mr. Hanky, I hope I pronounced that correctly.
You did.
1315 South Chestnut Avenue, number 1, address specific.
Seconded.
yeah, my whole life I was confused. It's Hanky or Henky. If it starts with a hey, I answer.
It didn't pop up yet.
Oh,
Okay,
I sent it through.
okay.
All right, motion to approve passes unanimously.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
You guys
you.
have a beautiful day. Thank you
You
very
too.
much for your time.
Thank you.
Push the chair. Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Oh, it just popped.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
Just popped up.
When it's, very
Okay, Corey Merrifield? Hello.
Hello.
I have a question. I wasn't here at the last meeting, but were you requesting to move to 706 North Broadway?
Correct.
And now it's 708?
Correct. The upstairs opened up. So I'm going to be moving to the upstairs instead of the lower unit.
Oh,
So it is a separate, it's a different unit. So it'll be a different address.
And then the last time, we just wanted some proof of treatment documentation?
Correct. I
Is that-
handed it in and
yeah, I've got it on.
so.
I'm just looking at it. Power for change?
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing is for my counselor.
And everything else is going okay?
Yeah, in fact, yesterday I was offered full-time employment.
Very good. Where?
Gray Bar.
Gray Bar?
Open to Pier. So I've been working there as a temp for 2 months. So
What do you do there?
warehouse work, just fill orders, stuff I enjoy.
Do you like it?
I worked in truck parts for 15 years, so it's not much different.
How often are you, do you have upcoming appointments with Mr. Nemec?
I've got to call and set up my next appointment with him. So I see him periodically when my schedule allows it.
So where are you staying right now?
I am going from motel to motel. Just, it's all I can do, enough to get by.
And what is your work schedule?
I work 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., Monday through Friday.
Well, weren't you staying at the 706? Didn't we?
I wasn't approved.
Oh, to deny, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I see.
He didn't have documentation for sure.
Got it. Got it.
When does your contract end?
For
Work?
for work in October. I got an email I can show you that I got from Gray Bar extending the job to me. If you want to look at it, I can show you.
Sure.
Right there. Just received that yesterday.
Any more questions or?
Thank you.
Last time we were here, you were here, my concern was the treatment.
Mhm.
And you've seen this, I'm sorry, I forgot the person's name, Nemec?
Yes.
4 times since July 1st.
Mhm.
Okay. But you don't have any future appointments?
I'm not seeing him about my offense. I'm seeing him to help me reestablish into the community. I was having some issues with comfort level, like the last gentleman was speaking about, knowing that, yeah, I'm a sex offender, people are out to get me, that kind of thing. I guess it was misinterpreted that I was seeing him as far as my case or what have you. I'm seeing him more on a personal level.
Okay. And there's the document, what was that? From Mr. Grabowski?
Yep, my agent.
Okay, about your proof of completion?
Yep. Yeah, he reevaluated me and said I require no more at this time, and I have no problem doing it if he wants me to.
And are you seeing your family, your wife? Are you having
Yep. I speak with her daily. My wife is here, my 2 sisters. So.
She spoke last.
Yes.
She spoke last.
Yes, I remember.
Any more questions?
Then
You want to make a motion?
People speaking.
Did anyone want to speak again, or?
Okay.
No, we're good? Okay. Okay. I'd like to make a motion to approve Mr. Manfield, address specific, 708 North Broadway.
I will second that.
Motion to approve passes unanimously.
Congratulations.
Is it okay if I mail the letter to the driveway?
Yeah.
Address? Okay. Well, who you want the next one? Okay, so click on second, and then click on agenda details, and then it just the whole agenda.
Okay, Faithlyn Lewis.
Good evening.
Hello.
How's everybody?
Good. How are you?
A little sick. But
Sick?
I have a cold, but I'm okay. I'm not doing anything for it, but
Oh, no.
there's no way. Sometimes the pills can be habit forming, so I just, you know, like putting chemicals in my body, like cough drops.
Through the cold.
So I'm muddling through it. Soldiering.
Okay, so you're looking to move to, is that 2625 Humboldt Road?
Correct, 2625 Humboldt Road, A1 Tulare Motel.
And you're there now?
No, I was there. They needed my room because the Packer game.
Oh.
Every room is booked solid, so I moved across town to Motel 6 in Schwabenau.
Okay.
But the main reason why I want to be okay to stay there is, number one, I would always have a backup plan that's safe and for as long as I need to. And I am looking at trying to get a job on the east side at the Bay Industries Skyline and I'm working with Remedy for that, intelligent staffing, so. And being at the motel there would help me get to work and back, because it's relatively close. I can get the bus there, and I can just ride my bike back from work, so it's accessible. Accessible, I guess. And my support people live on this side of town anyway, and they're all rooting for me to have a, yeah, they couldn't be here, they don't have time tonight. But I have been able to work. One of my support people is a boss. He owns this company, flooring company. So I've been doing that as much as I can, but I can only work for him 2 days. It's first shift work because I do AODA class 3 days a week, Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays at Options. And one of those days I also have a one-on-one with my counselor, which is a different AODA-related program called CPOP. And then I have to see my PO too. We've been doing it on Tuesdays, so I only get 2 days out of the week to work the flooring job, which isn't going to cut it for me. But I do it whenever I can, because it's a cash flow. And right now I need cash. And so I'll be working at Bay Industries, hopefully, like before Friday.
So the last time you were here was in 2012. What has been going on since then? Where
I've
have you
been couch surfing here in Green Bay, basically three days at a time, and then just motel hopping.
For 7 years, even?
No. For 7 years I've gone back to prison, jail. I'm currently on probation. Got out last April. I'm clean now for 2.5 years. Big improvement.
You mentioned your support system. Who are
Yes.
they?
Well, one of them, he's, like I said, he's my boss too. And if I am feeling a little bit risky, let's say, I can call him and he'll bring me to a job site and let me work it out, work it off or whatever. He just wants me to call him by Jay. And then Mark. These are both spiritually related people who share the same spiritual beliefs. It's not a secret, it's Christianity. And they're really good supports. They hold me accountable. If they see something out of character, they're going to question me about it, and they're older than me, so.
All right, anybody here?
No, nobody's there. They're on jobs right now. I tried to get them to show up, or at least one of them.
I have a question. If we approve him to the motel, but then he has to get out because of a Packer game, and then he goes back, is he approved to be able, if we just approve him to that address, can he?
He's approved.
Back and forth doesn't matter.
He's approved to live at that address. He's got a waiver of residence restriction.
So, but if someone lived at somewhere on Pine Street, they left, and then wanted to move back, they could move back to that same address and not come before us?
Correct.
Oh, I did not know that.
I didn't know that either.
If somebody is in an apartment, if they move back to that same apartment, they've been approved by the board to live there.
I can see motel or hotel, but I didn't realize homes. Okay, well,
I have a question. Since you were here the last time, you picked up a new offense, a sex offense?
It was failure to report. I was in a homeless situation and I didn't call Madison like I should have. I was so anxious about finding a place to live, I wasn't able to focus on a lot of things that I should have been.
so did you go someplace you weren't supposed to?
I was walking through a park that day. I wasn't sitting at the park, I was walking through a park and somebody must have recognized me and called the police. The police car showed up at the end of Crook Street when I was passing through. And I had marijuana on me, and that was also, I think there was a bail jumping charge too. If I remember correctly, I believe that I got bonded out of jail. Wasn't on probation yet, but there's, I think that was a bail jumping charge too, and possession of marijuana.
And when were you released on that?
April 14th, I believe, 2017.
2017.
I don't know the exact date anymore. I'm trying to look. I'm trying to look forward.
And then you had the THC charge in August of 2017? Is that it?
Is there not? Then 2017. Yeah.
Oh, and then
Yes.
it's all on the same
Yeah,
date. That's
yeah.
August
Right.
13th. It's the
Yeah.
same date.
Yes, it was right after my birthday or during the time of my birthday. Yeah, that was in August.
So have you had any other AODA assessment, treatment, and follow-through, it says?
Yes,
Oh, sorry, never mind. Can't mix that. I apologize. Don't answer yet.
Okay.
I'll get that through my head.
How long have you been working for this company? I mean, well, you're
Well,
going...
I'm working on getting a job.
Getting a
through
job, but-
Remedy. Remedy is a fairly new temp service that I applied for.
Okay.
I got a text from them saying they had a second shift job.
Okay.
I can only work second shift because of all my employments during the day, so second or third. I don't want to go to third shift and go to group all tired, no sleep. So second shift it is.
Do you have family here that are supportive?
Yes, my mother and my brother are both major supports for me. They live on the east side of Green Bay too, and right close, accessible to the motel too. Close by, I should say. Victoria Street.
lot.
And you don't wanna live with, I'm sorry, you don't wanna live with them?
They're on housing allowance, and there's strict regulations for that, and I'm obviously, I have a sexual crime on my record. That automatically bars, even if I were to call them and ask permission from them. Just like I don't qualify for any of the housing programs.
The last time when you were here, you, I believe, Mr. and Mrs. Chicka?
Yes,
Are you still?
Barb Chicka and Bob Chicka. I've been out of contact with them now for some time, but if I needed to call her, she's a valuable resource, she'll gladly talk to me. Bob too. She's a social worker herself, and I'm probably gonna call her for additional treatment if she's able to give it to me.
Yeah, yes, about treatment.
If we go over and ask you about treatment questions, would you want us to do it in private or
We could do this open.
open? Okay.
What treatment are you said you were going AODA?
Yes, I have 2 AODA related classes. One is Sabisa, the other one is CPOP, and they're both at Options Treatment Center.
Do you have any documentation of that?
I have my folder right here, and this is all my work we're working on. This is where we're at right now. The session, it ends on Thursday of the week, so tomorrow would be my last session of the week, but it goes for 40 sessions.
Do you have anything from a counselor?
The CPOP is it ongoing until I'm done with probation, or if I still want it. I don't know if I don't have that letter on me, but I do have a letter somewhere that says that, let's see if I have anything here. So you just want like something that she
showing,
signed
yeah,
or looked
yeah.
at or whatnot that she.
You've been going so long, whatever.
Oh, I don't have anything here that says that, but I do have a. Oh, that's not it. I do have a piece of work that we had to do that she actually gave me constructive criticism on, but anyway, I don't have that letter she sent me saying that I was admitted into this program.
And how often do you go to this? I'm sorry.
3 times a week.
Okay.
3 times a week, Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, from 9 to 12.
And this is for alcohol and drugs?
Yes.
Are those triggers for you?
I've identified my triggers. I've identified my bodily sensations leading up to a relapse. So I'm pretty good. Plus, I have about 2.5 years of sobriety in already. However, I'm just learning tools so that I have tools in my toolbox so that I can. It helps me to learn new things that apply to me, like my triggers, what leads up to my triggers, what am I feeling, what am I experiencing. It's cognitive based.
I will tell you my concerns. Because of the repeated violations, drug-related, I would feel much more comfortable approving you to the address. If you could provide that to us. A letter from your counselors?
Counselor. I could do that. I could probably do that. I can probably get something as early as tomorrow when I see her for group.
We won't be here tomorrow.
Where do I send it to otherwise? Should I drop it off here?
Well, what I would, may I make a motion?
Well, go ahead. Yep.
I was gonna make a motion to approve for address specific for 30 days and return in 30 days and provide proof of of attendance and a letter from your counselor
Okay.
for the AODA. Well, I'll do, you
Yeah.
said 3 programs or 2 programs? That
For
you're
the 2 programs, CPOP and Sabisa.
from both of those programs? Okay.
Documentation,
How long you've been
how
attending?
long I've been attending.
How often you attend? What you're working on?
Second that motion.
Sorry.
And that was address specific?
Yes.
Motion to approve for 30 days passes unanimously.
Okay, so you've been approved there for 30
So
days,
that's
just bringing that
getting
document.
more anxiety off me. Thank you.
And as soon as you get that, you can bring it to them. Those
Okay,
letters.
could I give you my mailing address to get that sent to? I call my
Yeah.
mom, it's my mom's address. I call her.
What's the mailing address?
Yeah, what's the mailing address?
615 Victoria Street, Green Bay, Wisconsin, 54302.
Okay.
So if you can send it there,
Yep.
Okay, thank
we'll
you.
get it as soon as possible.
And then you'll get a letter
Yeah.
telling you the
Yeah.
date to return.
Okay,
All right,
that's
thank
it.
you.
Good luck. Feel better.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Okay, so.
Mr. Stephen Lemron?
Here.
Come on up. How are you doing today?
Not too bad. How about you guys?
Good.
So you were here last month?
Right. I'm extremely nervous.
So how about, how have things been going since then?
Oh, pretty good. Actually, I got my letter from Pablo.
Okay.
I'm going to this every week, every Tuesday at 11:50. I'm still working.
So last month you made a motion for 90 days?
You know, I was looking at that.
Yeah, I believe it was,
Yeah, the motion for 90 days,
that
no,
didn't pass.
did not pass. And this, so it's, I guess,
Oh,
for
we
30
don't
days.
see what else happened then.
Yeah, they didn't do another motion after the 90-day one, and it was just failed, and Dean told him that he could reapply.
He's gotta go back to
Bring documents.
Oh, okay, so that motion failed, another motion wasn't done. Okay,
Okay, so this is a new appeal.
okay.
Okay, so this is from, is it Hanger Enterprises, Hanger? As a licensed professional counselor, this writer has known Stephen Lemron since August 6, 2019. This writer currently treats him in a sex offender treatment group. He has attended all scheduled groups, accepts responsibility for his offense, and has been completing assignments as assigned.
So you go down to Milwaukee?
No, he comes up from Appleton.
Oh, okay.
That's just their main
Okay.
office, yeah.
So what have you learned?
Oh, quite a bit. I brought what I'm working with here. I mean, it's like he
Are you
worked-
okay to,
Oh,
can I ask you questions in public or private?
Yeah, it's fine in the open.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really hard.
How long are you gonna continue is there an end date, or is it?
I think it usually goes about a year. That's what I've been told. He gives you credit each time you complete an assignment. I think you have to get so many credits.
And is it one-on-one or a group?
No, it's a group. There's 7 of us in there. It helped me with my being able to talk with people. You know, it helps. Before it's like last time I was there, I mean, I was nervous. But it helps me open up a lot more with people. I'm still not the greatest at it, but I'm working at it. Any other? You were asking what I learned so far. It's like this last time we worked on light traps. We had us pick out of like 10 of them. And I picked emotional deprivation, dependence, you need to be perfect. And that's what he had you do is write instance from your childhood, you know, and what that was. And then after that came, he wanted you to do a decision change with those, where it happened as you were an adult, you know what I'm saying? So I'm learning a lot about that, about myself. It's helping. I mean, I've been in there, I think August 6th is when I started. I've learned quite a bit in that little bit of time. Right now we're working on aversion to, it's an alternative, well, not an alternative, it's how do I say it? It's like a consequence of crime. So like, I had to write out what happened after my crime, like things I couldn't do, things I could do. Like I had to sit, like jail, you know, I had to talk about how you're sitting in jail because of what you did. And you know, that helped, and it helps you see what you did was not right. And I think my next assignment is the escape, where you got to say how you were thinking about what you're gonna do, but instead of doing it, you maybe call the friend or call the family member, and then you said give yourself a pat on the back. But yeah, that's our next one, is the escape. An alternative thought, an alternative behavior, contact positive support, and reward yourself.
How long are the sessions?
We're usually done by 2, because I think
Is it
it's
like an hour or?
hour and a half.
Okay.
Well, we started at 11:50 and we're done by 2, so
Oh,
well, almost 2 hours. And we go every Tuesday. And I'm still working, you know, my agent does stuff with me too, so she gave me a journal that I have to keep.
Oh, gosh.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions?
No.
Anybody want to make a motion?
I would make a motion to approve Mr. Lemeron to 1114 Stewart Street, address specific.
I'll second that motion.
You have an enter, right?
Yeah.
I saw it come up. I saw it come up.
Yeah, I did. I hit it and it went away.
Motion to approve passes unanimously.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You guys have a good day.
Would you like the letter sent to the Stewart Street address? I'll be sending it out in the next couple days.
Sure.
Joseph Coppersmith.
All right.
Say hello, it says, Judy, you got it.
Hi.
Hello.
I know, that's one thing that happens.
You're welcome.
Okay, so you're at the TLP right now?
Yes, ma'am.
How long will you be there, Bill?
Till the 30th?
And you're looking to move to 1145 University, Upper?
Yes, ma'am.
You living alone?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you at the TLP?
I was just released from prison on July 2nd.
Was that for a new offense? Or a violation?
For violation, I absconded and I got a DWI and fleeing and eluding.
And what?
Fleeing and eluding. And,
Okay.
And when was this?
09. And failure to register, I think.
Okay.
Nope, I'm not understanding, because it's, this was, the eluding was in 2010,
Oh, 10.
but then it says sentence was 1 year and 2 years?
Yeah, there's an additional, so
Concurrent?
when you scroll down,
Yes.
page 8 of 14, there was a revocation in 2010 and you were, was it sentenced for 15 years?
Yes,
Okay.
Oh, okay.
10 and 5 out.
I have page 2 of 2, I don't.
Yeah, I don't, this is like,
And that next one is 2, I don't have that.
I don't either.
So how long did you fail to register?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you want to do Captain?
And where were you living?
You do have.
I was
Okay, I saw that.
hopping between family members.
Okay. And the eluding, could you describe that?
I got pulled over by the police because my plates were suspended for seatbelt ticket,
Okay.
failure to pay it. So they suspended my plates.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I figured I was on, there's a warrant for my arrest for the absconding. So I had a few drinks in me and I just panicked.
Okay. Took it for all it was worth. Okay. All right. Gosh, darn it, this thing keeps moving. All right. So can you explain do you know, or the breakdown of your sentence? So you had the failure to register, the eluding, and then the, what was the other offense? We're just trying to calculate.
Failure to register. I had a first DWI.
Okay, okay. All right, so we're adding those in. How long, so you were recently released?
Yes.
You're at TLP. How long are you on probation?
5
Or on
years.
paper? Okay. 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 And the address that you're requesting to move to, you've lived there before?
No, I haven't.
I'm sorry, I'm just reading back on
Yeah.
your offense, just so you.
1145 University Upper?
Yes.
You've not lived there before?
I stayed there for a brief while when I was on paper, but it wasn't approved.
Okay. Okay.
Mine's getting glitchy, it won't.
It's touchy.
Very touchy tonight.
I know,
Usually I can
it
get
keeps
through
moving
better
on
than
me.
this.
Do you want to stop?
I'm sorry?
Do you want to stop?
No, I got it, it's,
Okay.
no, it's coming in, but it's, yeah. Now, is the landlord a relative?
Yes, she's my cousin. She's fully aware of my crime. She's been there through the whole thing.
Okay.
That's why I'm looking for the letter from you.
So she's aware.
There we go.
And are you looking for a job now?
I already have a job. I work at American Foods. I started actually today. I did my orientation today. And I work 6 days a week from 4:30 to 1:30.
And your support network, you're going to reside with your cousin, or
No,
she owns the property?
yes.
Who's your support network?
My cousin Roger, his fiancee, my sister, rather, the cousin that owns the house, and my nephew and niece,
And where does everyone live?
right here in Green Bay. Except for Roger and his fiancee, they live in Lena.
Okay.
I'm in constant contact with them every day, so,
Okay.
But you're gonna live alone?
yes.
I do not. Just
I also have, I have this from my PO, the proof of SOT program.
what was that?
It's okay with open session.
I'm sorry?
It's
Oh,
okay with
session.
Open session.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fine.
So you don't mind if we talk about your treatment and anything like that in front of, okay. So, what type of treatment or any classes are you going to now?
Right now, I'm not taking nothing. They recommend aftercare, which my PO is, she's gonna set that up for the future date as soon as I get everything stabilized.
Okay.
As soon as I get set in my job, and I get this approved, the housing approved.
What about so you said that when your last violation, you were under the influence of alcohol?
Yes, I completed AODA in prison,
Do you have any documentation?
not on me. But completed that in 2018.
Okay.
I do have the certificate and stuff at the TLP.
There you go, sir. Did your PO tell you approximately how long before she's going to have you do the aftercare?
No.
Just depending on how things progress from here.
Yes. She wants to see how my work is, how I'm doing at work. If I get approved, how well I'm doing at plays and stuff. She wants to make sure I'm stable before she gets me into aftercare. She doesn't want to overload me with too much burden.
Do you feel you have any troubles with alcohol?
Not anymore. I don't even have an urge for it. I don't have a taste for alcohol at all.
So my concern is that you're, I would feel more comfortable since you had the violation, and it wasn't just one thing where you violated, it was kind of cumulative.
Mm-hmm.
You had a bunch of things going on. I would feel much more comfortable approving you to that address specific without any time period if we had the documentation for your completion of AODA and your paycheck step, and as well as getting some information from your PO. Hopefully she will have put you, referred you for aftercare, because it's been so recent, and being on the inside is one thing, everything's regulated. And then so you do have to become reaccustomed to living on the outside. So for now, I would have a motion of approving Mr. Coppersmith address specific for a period of 60 days, at which time I would ask that you bring in your proof of completion of your AODA program, and also your paycheck stub. And hopefully by then you will have some documentation from the probation officer, probation agent, parole agent, showing that you've been referred for aftercare.
Okay, I also got this from CBI for my rent and security deposit for 3 months.
Okay.
They're gonna help me out with that so I can get on my feet.
Okay, that's great.
I'm gonna make a second to that motion. Thank you.
Motion to approve for 60 days passes unanimously.
Okay, so you'll come back with us with that information in 60 days, or?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Do you want your letter sent to the University Avenue address?
TOP for now.
TLP? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day. We'll see you in 60.
So we smell.
Kick that with you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Christopher Butler. Hi, Mr. Butler.
Hello.
You're requesting to move to 2233, or your current address is 2233 Samantha Street,
Yeah.
apartment 54 De Pere, and you're requesting, to move to 1125 South Chestnut Street, Lower.
Correct.
Okay. Is that the same address?
No.
No, it's right down the street though,
Yeah.
it's Josh.
Okay,
Okay.
Yep.
So why do you want to move back into Green Bay?
No, I lived in Green Bay. I just, the last 2 months, I lived down South Oakland, 823 South Oakland.
Okay.
And I was dating some girl for a long period of time, and we just went our separate ways. So I moved out to De Pere with my parents.
Okay.
And that's a little far away from my work and everything that I do. So I got a roommate, I found a roommate that I want to move in with.
Mm-hmm.
So that'd be a lot more access to everything for me. Instead of living with my parents, I don't want to live with my parents.
And where do you
Just
work?
have to for right now. Pioneer Meadow.
And where's that located?
Right on Broadway, right next to 172
Okay.
on Broadway.
And the person you're gonna move in with has one,
3 kids, 4 kids.
4 kids.
What is your relationship to the person?
We're friends.
Okay.
It's just gonna be a roommate. I got a letter from her brother that owns the place. I sent it to them.
Joey?
Yep.
Delcourt?
Yep.
So my question is, because the property information's a little bit different than,
He is the manager.
Joey's the manager. Okay, so is my understanding is that it has to be actually from the property owner and not the property manager?
Well, we've had apartment managers
Yeah.
before, not the owners of the
And
apartment.
it has to be, I mean, if it's an LLC or something like that, it has to be an agent for.
Mhm.
That is my fault then.
Okay. So, long story short, it appears as though we would need a letter from the actual owner of the property approving you to move there,
Oh,
okay? And this is helpful, what you sent, but we'd actually need it from the owner.
they are, but I can get it, that's no issue. That is no issue.
And
They're
so,
quite cold.
well,
I get what you're saying, I can get it from him.
okay. So at this time, what I will do is I will make a motion to deny. And then you just resubmit the information. As soon as you get it, just bring it all back,
Okay,
okay?
all right.
Wait.
Oh.
It has to be seconded, because they may think I'm crazy.
I'll second that motion.
I wish I would have done that before.
I'm sorry, that is completely my fault. I thought we were okay with it being the manager.
So it's a yes is a, to a motion to
A
deny.
yes vote is to deny.
Okay.
Did you put your name?
Yeah, we did.
Was it a yes?
Yeah.
Motion to deny passes 2-1.
So you heard us what we were talking about with everybody else, so just keep that all, as far as documentation, just bring that kind of stuff.
All right, what do you need?
Well, where you were, maybe your pay stub, things like that, just,
You guys need all that?
it just helps.
Okay.
Okay. Good luck.
Yeah.
Should I just come up?
Come on.
Well, I thought since you did the last one,
Okay,
you're gonna-
James Bellinger?
Bellinger.
Bellinger, sorry.
It's close enough.
And you were here in February
Yes.
of this year, and you had requested to move to 1003 Wilson Avenue, and you were approved.
Yes.
And now you're requesting to move to 900 School Place in Green Bay.
Yes.
Why do you want to move?
Well, it was a temporary situation moving in with my grandparents. The house I was staying on, the division was with my mother of my child. She ended up cheating on me and moving in her boyfriend, so me staying there was not an option. So everything moved pretty fast. My grandparents let me move in, and they've been subtly hinting for me to leave. They started moving construction stuff downstairs by the door where my room is, so I'm just trying to get ahead of it beforehand.
Those are good cues.
Tripping over buckets of paint when I got done at 5 a.m. was enough of a hint.
Okay.
Has it not been good, or is it just
No,
like
it's fine.
fine?
It's just I know they get kind of grumpy, like, and I could sense it. So I try not to even be there when I don't have to sleep. So just to make it a little bit easier. Plus, the girlfriend did buy her house, so she wants me to move there.
Okay, so I was going to ask, 'cause she's the
Yes.
landlord.
And she's the owner and landlord.
Okay.
I completely forgot I gave you the documentation, so I brought.
You did,
I brought more stuff.
But they've changed, the county is updated, so they show
Okay.
her as the owner.
Okay, awesome. Do you have that paperwork I did handy?
I sure
Did you really? Because I need copies, because that was all her paperwork that she actually.
Oh my
made.
God, that was nice. I thought they were just copies.
No,
so that
those
was
were
my
originals.
They looked like copies.
That was
yes.
my deed.
Oh my God. I can see if I can get a copy for you.
I
Because
greatly
they're actually,
appreciate
you don't have to have the deed, you can have a certified copy.
Okay.
I will, yeah.
I appreciate that. I did promise you'd get it back today.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's one of those days, it's fine.
Yeah, it's just thinking the same.
Any questions?
I don't have any questions.
Has everything been going okay?
Started a new job, but other than that, nothing.
And where's the
Been-
new job at?
I'm working now at R. Denley. In fact, the company was about a year and a half ago. The hours are better. I'm not working 12s nonstop, so plus I get to work first shift, which I wanted to do for a while.
Sure. Okay.
Good.
I don't have any further questions.
Neither do I. Motion to approve address specific.
I'll second.
Motion to approve passes unanimously.
All right, thank you.
Okay, good luck.
Thank you for waiting all this
Yeah,
time.
not a problem.
Excuse me.
Thank you.
Thank you, you're welcome. It's asking about a software update.
Let's get through the meetings and we can get the word software.
Yeah.
Okay. Motion to adjourn?
I make a motion?
I'll second that.
I'm raising my hand because mine's all goofed up.
Okay, who made the motion?
I did.
Oh, Melissa did.
Oh, she's, well, here, second that.
And who seconded?
Yeah.
Renee.
Hey, when it comes to motions to adjourn, I'm like.
All right, everybody voted to approve?
Yes.
Yes. No, we don't want to stay here any longer.
Holy patootie. I looked at, like, wait a minute. The applications just kept coming.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's like,
Hold on.
Is yours coming up with the download?
No. I didn't have anything about that.
Should I hit the download for the software update? Later. I'm not gonna send it.